Hello. Hello. Hi, everybody. We want to get started? Shh. Okay. Welcome, everybody. We're going to have the panel where we focus on Europe. We had it before, and we got some good feedback on it, so we're going to try to do it again. Some of you might see that I am not Martin, who's our chair, but he can't speak, and we're partly happy about that. I'm Einar from APL Publishing, and a part of the IPMG board. With me, I have Juliette Metz, one of the founders of the IPMG board, and from Encore Merci. We have Ray Pagden from Motus Music and a part of the PMAG in the UK. We have Gilda Fulco from Intervox, who is part of GPMA, IPMG, different organizations. And we have Pietro from Machiavelli, who is a part of IPMG and also the Italian PMA. Yeah, they'll introduce themselves.
Okay.
You can say it yourself.
Okay. No. It's just the Italian Association of Music Provider.
Yes. Many titles, busy people. We're going to have two phases in this. We're going to start by having an introduction of 4 of the major territories in Europe, and then we're going to go into some reports we have done through BMAT. So I think we'll start with Juliette of introducing France and what's going on there.
Is it yes, it's working. So what happened recently in France is that we've had a major addition in the law, in the French law. It's linked to the transposition of the European Directive on Copyright. And France has transposed the text and has gone very far because there is a new article which has been added to the original European text, which says that buyout is not allowed. So it means that it gives more power to SACEM, which is the French PRO, to say to the broadcasters, you have to pay us, and whatever music you're using, we have to get the amount of money we think you owe us, and no matter if there are some buyouts that are being broadcast, buyout tracks being broadcast, which is a huge step. We really hope that some other territory will use that and go that way to protect composers' rights, and that's very useful. So we are really working with SACEM to find a way to protect the mechanical rights of the composers in the European territories. So that was a major step. What's also interesting is that as the French PMA, we are really working to build our awareness. Awareness. I'm sorry, my English is rusty. It's due to 2 years without traveling because of COVID. We are building awareness of production music within SACEM and at the French Minister of Culture and elsewhere, because my motto is if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. You see, so the idea is to be quite everywhere to ensure that people understand what we are doing and understand that we are publishers, we are working with composers, and we are part of the music industry, so we deserve the same treatment. So one of the biggest achievements we've had recently is that we managed to get an envelope for production music publishers at SACEM. So it helps the company. So it doesn't interest you because it's a local help, but I think it's very important because it could be replicated too, because it means that they understand that what we do it's useful and we need help for our company to be successful. So that's really something I'm very proud of with the rest of the PMA, the French PMA. So yeah, I have info for you if you need some. And also we are very concerned about something that's happening everywhere, but when it's locally, you're very worried about some big private TV company which are trying to merge. And when you see that some of them are really trying to use only their music, in-house production music, it's something that's very worrying because French is still a small market, so compared to US, obviously. So we don't have that many TV stations which are giving us a lot of money. So we are very concerned by that. So yeah, we'll see what happened. The merge that was on the radar didn't happen, but another one can. So yeah, we are trying to be very aware of how it can impact us.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And I saw that Ray already made some notes. You realized this is also happening in the UK, or what's the big problems in the UK?
Okay, the UK suffers from slightly different problems. You're going to hear all the other European countries here about how they're improving their copyright laws and removing safe harbour. Unfortunately, Brexit happened just around the time all the safe harbour stuff was going on. The UK music industry contributed to the success of and the campaigning, and then our government basically wants to undo everything the EU has ever done for the last 30 years. So the bad news there is there's really not much going on. So you know, I feel like everything I'm saying is bad, but it's just the facts, you know. I mean, this has happened. So there's still campaigning going on to have these things happen. It's just not the government's priority. They're more worried about their greengrocers selling in pounds rather than kilos. So on a legal front, not much. But politically, we do have some issues. One of them being the sale of one of the biggest UK channels. So most of you will be aware of the BBC, which is a publicly owned channel. There's another channel that's publicly owned, Channel 4. Now, they were set up with the premise that they would never own any programming, but they would commission programming. And that built a thriving TV production industry in the UK with lots of independents all producing programming. And those wouldn't just do for Channel 4. You know, they'd get in the door with Channel 4, then they'd be for the BBC and Sky, and it really is for our industry. That's going to be sold off, and that could go to a major broadcaster that would just integrate it into their system. They would start owning content, probably be using their own in-house music, and it really could damage the UK TV industry, which, you know, production music is reliant on. So that's a huge risk that's coming along. There may be some regulation with the sale that they still have to commission programming, but it's not guaranteed. So that's something that we're quite worried about, and we're campaigning against the privatisation of that. UGC is a problem. In the UK, we don't directly license our music. We go through MCPS, who do the licensing for us, and they can't compete with the likes of the online, you know, subscription models and things. There's no platform. We're all independent companies with our own platforms, so it's difficult to have a licensing model and a distribution platform that encompasses all of that. There is talks to try and resolve that, and those talks have been ongoing for a while. They have stalled recently due to bigger problems coming along, but we want to kind of put something together where all of the production companies in the UK that primarily focus in other areas can target this market in an easy way. What else have we got? But our other big problem is because of the way the music's licensed via MCPS, and they've outsourced the licensing to PRS. PRS's history is in licensing performing rights, and they have a monopoly on that. And that monopoly mentality filters through into the licensing department, and they don't realise we're in competition with other business models with royalty-free. And so somebody will ask for a license, they will ask for certain rights, and the customer wants it. Our industry want them to have those rights, but quite often PRS go around and say, no, we don't want them to have those rights because we don't know how to distribute the money afterwards. And we're like, well, just get the license in place, get the usage in place, and we can fix distribution at a later date. Sit on the money for a year while you fix the problem, but do the licensing now. And they don't understand that with the sync side of things, someone can go elsewhere, and they can go elsewhere for free and get everything they want. And they're trying to license from us for hundreds of thousands of pounds, maybe millions of pounds, and still not getting what they want. And that has been a very tough thing to get over. We are getting a lot of support from MCPS to fix this, but changing the corporate mentality within PRS is a huge challenge to kind of get these licensing issues resolved. And every license seems to have a list of exceptions. And production music is supposed to be the easy music that shouldn't have the exceptions. Commercial music usually has all the carve-outs, and we are the alternative. But because the people running PRS, primarily commercial publishers, that's the mentality that we have to hold this back. So we're fighting constantly the commercial mentality and the monopoly mentality. So sorry, that's all bad news. But over to someone with something more positive, I hope.
Hopefully. How much we love the PROs. They're sending us a lot of money, they're doing a lot of good things, but they're also big organizations, and I think that is also something that slows things down in Germany. Maybe you can tell us more about that.
Yes, so there are some developments regarding the regulation of online-only productions of broadcasters, because so far we have general broadcast agreements between GEMA and the broadcasters that cover linear usages in TV and online usages that have been primarily aired on TV. But what concerns the part that is produced only for the online streaming, so far we had a licensing system that it's merely licensing every single usage for 25 euros a track. So if you imagine a broadcaster that is producing increasingly more content for online-only productions, this is not feasible anymore. So we got in contact with GEMA already a couple of years ago, and we were also fearing some of the latest developments. But in the end, we got to an agreement. So in July, we received a document from GEMA by which we give to GEMA a mandate to licensing rights for these usages. And now all publishers, music publishers that have signed, they are now asked to send also audio files to the Collecting Society, so that all the production music repertoires that are covered by this authorization then will be greenlit and used for also online-only usages. This is, in the end, a positive development, and but only for the public broadcasters at the moment. And regarding the private broadcasters, this is something that is now is not proceeding anywhere, because private broadcasters are now, at the moment, it seems they're not interested in a GEMA solution. So we are now really talking with GEMA on a daily basis to offer a solution to private broadcasters, which obviously it doesn't look like they were preferring a cheaper offer or an offer that was having more quality, but it looks like they really look for something that is easier to do and faster also. Having to wait 2 years must have probably been not the right way. So, but we are not pessimists, because we know that any kind of contract with any royalty-free library will also expire, and we will be there with a better offer also for private broadcasters. Something that the German Production Music Association is doing very well is also lobbying for similar issues in neighboring countries, like German-speaking countries, Austria and Switzerland. We've been talking with the Swiss neighboring rights society, Swiss Perform, because in Switzerland at the moment, neighboring rights are only paid for radio broadcasting and not for TV. So it's not something that discriminates production music, it just discriminates usages in TV. But the good thing is that we were able to speak with someone there at Swiss Perform, and there is a representation of the German Production Music Association through Intervox and West One on behalf of the GPMA. They participate to the phonographic group at Swiss Perform, to their meeting, and they have now arrived there with a concrete proposal which seeks for a switch also to television, also based on music reporting. The only thing is that they will have to wait for the authorization of the Swiss Institute for Intellectual Property, and this will have to be approved next year by their General Assembly, but that's a step ahead. And also production music, we generally think, needs to have more representation in every board and every organization to be able to speak at the same level of other sectors of our industry. So that's why we are trying to get representatives of our libraries also in the different associations of music publishers and at collecting societies. So this year we were also able to get a production music representative at the Music Publishers Association, DMV. This is under the person of Bettina Bonengel from Intervox as a treasurer, but we are already working to establish a production music group, a commission within this association. So I'd just like to leave you some food for thought generally. I think that German production music is a very positive example of effective lobbying, and because there is a critical mass that they were able to reach through the participation of all publishers in Germany. We have majors there, we have independents, smaller libraries, composer-driven libraries, and that's very important because in the end there cannot be competition in a country on a market if there is no market to compete for. And this is something that we can really do when we joined our forces together. And with Pietro, we know how difficult it is in Italy if there are too many individual attempts to approach big issues. And when there is no dialogue between people who are doing the same job. So that's from my side.
Thank you. That was very good. And you sent it over to Pietro. Tell us how fluently things are going in Italy.
Bad news or good news?
Start with the good ones.
News. Good news, good news. So, okay, I can start about talking about neighboring rights in the past years. Also here, in 2019, we were speaking about neighboring rights. Martin did a good panel on this. And that's good news is that we, not we as a company, but we as a group of companies working in the production music will see doubling every year the collection of the neighboring rights society. So it's good. And this means that all the problematic things regarding considering or not the possibility of recouping and collecting the neighboring rights for production music was something that in Italy was solved at source, because all the music were able to collect this kind of rights. So we didn't have any problem in being recognized as payable from the neighboring rights society. And this is a good point. Also, they changed the system of the registration of the tracks, and so with the availability of the ICRC code from all over the production music companies we do represent in Italy, this is much more efficient, the collection of the rights. The lack of the ICRC code was a very big problem with the US company in the past. We were obliged also to create an ICRC code, temporary ICRC code, in order to be able to collect these rights. Because if not, it was impossible to be recognized as the payable from the neighboring rights society. Also, we have still problems in getting the ISWC code. You know, it's a big problem. You wait a lot to get this. And this is another international problem that all we have. And so this is good news from the neighboring rights side. And the second one is that all the, let's say, digital platform like Netflix, Amazon Prime, has been obliged recently, also due to the European directive, to have a site, a specific legal site, legal entity in the territory in order to be able to operate. It means that before they were Netflix, I don't know, US or whatever, and they just have a representative in Italy and all the countries where they were operating. And this was very critical in order to establish the amount of the license for the performing rights of this kind of companies, and also on the neighboring rights side. Because, of course, it was very difficult to establish a real turnover, a local turnover. It was just a pure declaration of the company to say, oh, we have this kind of number of memberships and number of subscriptions, and that's it. So you have to calculate the amount of money on this possible turnover, but there's nothing on paper really certified. And now, since 2021, Netflix opened an SPA, that is a public share company, so it's a legal entity, Italian entity, so they have a turnover, a balance sheet, and the Collecting Rights Society can apply for a license and can ask for the money according to a number that are sure and certain and certified. And this is really important because it's bringing much more money also on the collection and on distribution of the rights, both on performing rights and neighboring rights. So these are good news, no? And the same also for Amazon Prime, all the others coming in. And another positive is that we have a new general manager at CI that is very young and very smart on technology. So we really hope all that will bring some news and much more efficient collection and distribution, and that's good. The negative side is that we'll still have a lot of issues on the usage of the music from the public television, the state television, that is the biggest one in Italy in terms of payment to the collection society. And so we all are quite very worried about the lack of cue sheet, precise cue sheets. We'll see on the reports and at the end. And also our public television has been also called directly from ICMP twice with dedicated letters to complain about the situation. It didn't answer. They didn't answer also to the Italian authority, and that's worse. And we are also doing a lot of lobby against this situation with the Italian Federation of Music Publishers, with ICMP as well this year. So we hope the situation will be solved, and some positive signals are coming in, so we are confident that we solve the situation maybe for 2023. So I don't have any other negative news. So, no, yes, one comment to the UGC UGC content that we were mentioning before, the critical situation of the UGC content. We are experiencing, of course, this in the past years. And the problem is that the few amount of money that we are seeing from the monetization of the content from the platforms still is, from my point of view, this is the problem. So we all have to join forces on worldwide basis, not just on local basis, to push this platform, because they earn a lot of money. And there's a big gap in what they give back also for the monetization is nothing. So when you monetize, you should see a lot of money. But you don't see a lot of money, not because of the lack of the collection system, because of the lack they don't want to pay this. So I don't know why, and I don't know how we can do something all together, but maybe, okay, make something international, sue to the court of these big platforms. They are not paying nothing, really. You see, the turnover is something like 7-8 billion of YouTube, and they're giving back, I don't know how much to the music, to the music side, because they pay maybe the content creators much more, but the music is nothing. And on the performing rights is nothing, few cents. So this is not good.
I don't know what the situation is with you, but with the safe harbour improvements, that should hopefully change across Europe. In the UK, they're always using the safe harbour excuse to reduce how much they pay. They actually think they should pay nothing because they say we're not the creator and we're not the broadcaster, which obviously we disagree with, and we have to negotiate a rate. And they're starting at 0 and we're starting up here and we go down here somewhere. Whereas now you're taking safe harbour away, hopefully you can push that rate up much better than we can. You also, sorry, reminded me, I do have something positive to say about the UK industry. Yes. Neighbouring rights. 10 years ago, so I don't know if you know this, the neighbouring rights situation for production music in the UK is unusual in that the Neighbouring Rights Society, PPL, do not license for production music. So MCPS, PRS do it on our behalf. So if you want neighbouring rights, you have to be an MCPS member. And because PRS do all of this and they know performing rights and not neighbouring rights, 10 years ago, if you asked what they're doing with neighbouring rights in other areas, you just got this blank look. And they would be approached by performers going, well, where's my money, where's my money? And they just didn't want to deal with it. I'm pleased to say that since we've got a new CEO at MCPS, he's been very, very supportive of our industry, and all the things I complain about, he's really, really trying to help fix. So as much as it is a lot of bad news, there is positive change. But one of the big things is they are actually actively adding neighbouring rights into a lot of licensing. So where they've got a partnership with PPL and they're going out to pubs and restaurants and things like that, and they're licensing neighbouring rights for the commercial music, they're now going to start going around to all those clients and saying, hang on a minute, you've got commercial neighbouring rights, you've got all of the performing rights, but you haven't got production music. So in their negotiations, all their renewals are going to go up a few % to start paying out neighbouring rights that we've not been getting for the last 100 years. So something positive.
I love it that we end on a positive in this part. What you see examples of here is amazing people that we have in the IPMG. IPMG means International Production Music Group. We were inspired, or Juliette was inspired by the PMA back in 2014. It's like, what can we do in Europe to improve the situation across the different borders? And I think the unity in our community has grown immensely since then. We know we have common things we work towards. And one of the first things we wanted was to increase the respect for our industry, production music. We were shunned by some, but now we have board members of the publishers associations in Spain, France, Italy, Germany, Czech Republic, and Poland. And we also have board members of some of the PROs. So now they're taking us much more seriously than when we started. And I think we can applaud Juliette. We always do that for
I was not alone. Edwin Cox from West One helped me with this launch. But I'm very proud to see where we are going all together and to see that as an industry we understand that we have a power, that we are not just rubbish. We are working with real composers they have their craft. It's real art, and we deserve a part of the cake, a piece of the cake. I'm sorry, and we're here.
Yeah, this is something we used to say. It's real music. Now we know. We see the composers here. So the PMA has also inspired us to do our own events. So this year we're doing something in Paris. You remember the dates? In November? 9th of November in Paris. We're going to do an event together with ICMP, which we now are a part of, and that will give us a lot more lobbying power as well. And now we are starting to inspire the other way. So PMA are getting from us some inspiration to how we can improve things globally. And you probably all read Variety and Billboard and all these magazines about how much production music is being used on US channels. It started by us working with BMAT to do this same thing in Germany, France, and UK. And the premiere today is that we'll show you the status in Italy. But we'll go around and show you what the numbers are in Europe. And if you want the reports, we will share them with you. Okay, we'll start with you, Juliette.
Yes, so for those who are not familiar with those graphics, on the left you have the part of the music which is broadcast on TV, and they take out what concerns the ads and promos. The one in the middle, so the 90% of the first cycle. It's just they took out. What's in the in-show content, the non-music, because there's not music during the whole part of the broadcasting. So we are now with 48% of music in the total broadcast without ads and promo. And in France, they discovered that from this 48%, there are 43% which is production music, which is a lot, which is great. So the 27, 30% it's the commercial music, and the 27% it's the unclassified. The unclassified, it's the music that it's not tagged as production music. It can happen because some labels are not in BEMAT. So in France, for example, the number is not that high because we have to register the tracks in BEMAT.
Yeah, upload and
register. To upload, sorry, the tracks in BEMAT to get some neighboring rights, because the neighboring rights society, they have an agreement with BEMAT. So if you're not in BEMAT, you get nothing. So that's why the number is not that high. And also within those 27%, you have the music which comes from in-house companies. So yeah, so we don't have the details. We would love to have it, but they are not giving it to us. So those numbers are very useful for us to prove, if needed, that we are very important in the broadcasting part. But for me, it's also something that could be dangerous, so it has to be handled with care, because when you show that you're very important and very powerful, you can have in front of you some people more powerful than you, trying to, finding ways for you to get less money than you should receive. So that's a great tool, but we have to take it with caution.
Yeah. And we have to be careful, but it shows that we are very important for all the broadcasters and production companies. And we can jump to Gilda for Germany.
Yeah, so from Germany we have data showing that we have, out of the whole airing time, we have 3% advertisement and the rest is in-show. And in this in-show share we have 41%, I can't see that, I think it's 41% music. And out of this music share we have 45% production music, 15% commercial music, and we have 40% non-identified music, for the same reason that Juliette was explaining. But we really know some situations where some broadcasters really didn't give their authorization for monitoring their in-house repertoire. Also in Germany, like, we have different private broadcasters like RTL and this one. So this makes us think that this 45% is just the minimum that we can be glad about. And for what concerns what we do with this data, in our case, we directly forwarded this to the Music Publishers Association and also to GEMA for different reasons, but this was also one very important instrument to get attention also within the wider music publishers community, because sometimes our issues are not really considered, and you can get more consideration when you show the impact that you have on the market. So that was very useful, and same with GEMA, that then was even more motivated to listen to what we are asking regarding online usages, because online usages of broadcasters are where the future television is going to be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very good. And one of the good things in Germany is that GEMA, the PRO, is also working with BMAT. So they trust the company that is doing these reports for us to work with them themselves. So that puts some extra credibility behind it.
Yeah, especially the way they work is, it has to be with music reporting, because now I think it was 12 years ago when we were talking about the fact that in Germany we found out 40% of music being reported only, and then we started this claiming process. That time was with TuneSat, and it was a very good cooperation with TuneSat and all the German music publishers. And then, of course, the solution is not the claim. The solution is that the TV broadcasters use automatic recognition for music reporting. You can't do it by hand. That's the solution. So that's where they came with BMAT, and we hope this will happen in Italy soon.
Hopefully in more countries. I know they are working in more and more societies, not just BMAT, but TuneSat, Soundmouse, etc. Yeah. Tell us about the UK.
Okay, so the numbers. So 8% of the broadcast music is advertising and 92% programming, so pretty much in line with the rest of Europe there. Interesting thing, I don't know about other territories, but in the UK we actually have regulations on how long advertising breaks can be. And that's actually another political thing with our current government that's hell-bent on changing everything, is they want to remove some of that regulation. So that could be an opportunity for more ads and less programming. Makes less enjoyable TV watching, but potential space for more usage and higher sync fees maybe. So, positive spin on that. So within the TV shows, 42% is music, again similar to the other territories. But what we do have is some interesting numbers on the percentages of where that music's coming from. So at least 37% being production music and 6% commercial. And I think that's a fantastic ratio, which really kind of shows how production music is valued in the UK. And I kind of just thinking about this because years ago, under the blanket licenses, everybody was kind of saying, oh, why would I use production music when I can use this under the blanket license? And there was a sea change about 6 or 7 years ago when, because the UK blanket only covers the UK broadcast, and then those TV shows would be reversioned for overseas sales. but that costs money. And so where broadcasters are making cutbacks, they're turning around and saying, I don't want to pay an editor to reversion. You have to use production music from day one. And that has actually, I mean, I've seen that personally in my company, you know, the increase in usage. So when I saw those figures, I was first questioned it, and I was like, actually, no, that makes sense with what's going on in our industry in the UK. So the other thing is we have a very high unclassified at 57%, which stands out against the other two territories. One of the things in unclassified is broadcaster-owned music. One of the biggest UK private broadcasters owns its own music library and doesn't license in third party. So that would partly explain why we have a very high unclassified section there. But generally, it feels quite a positive numbers.
Yeah, I think all of them are quite positive, and we have this whole unclassified part that is big, and where I think a lot of it is production music, just not registered.
It will be, because we don't use BMAT in the UK for any distribution things. I mean, I don't upload into BMAT, so my music won't be in there. I don't think it will make a huge difference, but
that would skew double the production music use. Yeah.
But you know, maybe.
Cool, thank you. And we just did this for the major territories first, the three biggest, and we're going to roll it out in more territories. And for my home territory, Denmark, CODA, the society, is very positive to this. They're like, we really want this data, it's interesting for us. But they are longer down the ladder than Italy, and Pietro is going to show the report for the first time for how the situation is in Italy. Maybe you want to come over here and click the button yourself?
Yeah, because I can't see there. So I can stay here. I have the slides here, so no problem for me.
Okay, then just give me a sign when I need to change the slide.
Okay. Yes, you can start. You can start it first. Okay, this is the final summary of the research. That's in Italy. Let's say the situation is more or less the same, and we are so happy to confirm the weight of the production music on the global airing time, and especially on music. So it means that we all know that it's higher probably. So it's in between. For all countries, 42, 43, up to 48% some cases. You will see that number is a little bit less for production music in Italy, but I will explain why, and that's the reason why. And so music has been used twice than commercial music on TV across Italy, and that's really a good result. And in 43% of the total time of the broadcast and cable TV in Italy. And the identified of the production music has been found in 33% of the total airing time. And this is 10 points less, 15 points less the estimation that we have, the real estimation. And was the advertisement is just 7%, we'll see after of the total airing time. And yes, commercial music only heads up around 16, maybe from our internal estimation up to 20% of the airing time. So the channels that have been monitored are 10 channels. We of course have in Italy our other international channels that are airing through the packages of Sky and other channels, so international CNN or whatever. But we're taking care only about Italian TV station, okay? So the two big groups are Mediaset Group and Rai Television, the national one. So these two group of companies are paying the highest amount globally for the performing rights, so to our collecting society, CI. And also for the neighboring rights, of course. The estimation is that more or less they are both paying in between 55 and 65 millions each So it's a lot of money. Unfortunately, all these data are secured, and is really a problem to disclose this information. As well for the big platforms like YouTube negotiation, Google negotiation, all this kind of stuff are secured and not disclosable. I mean, I don't know in the other countries, but I guess there are some restriction in having access to the real information of the deals. No, this is a problem also. Anyway, we can switch over, okay, and okay. This one, okay, perfect. So you see here, that's what we described before. So it's 43% of the music presence, and 57 is not music presence. Also, we have some channels. We'll see, for instance, Rai Free. They have a lot of talks and speaking program only, so a few music is used there. And the 7% is just ads and promo. And you can go over in the breakdown per channel for the music. And as well, you see that Rai 1, 2, 3 has less music, and LA7 as well. There are a lot of talks here as well, so this is the reason why we see less music here than in the other channels. And yes, I guess that we can skip on the okay, this one, perfect. And this is the 33%, the opposite of the 16% of the commercial music. If we want to have a comparison between production music and commercial music, we always are fighting with our advertising agencies, production TV companies, or creators to say, oh, production music is not like production music, it's not like commercial music is more important. So it's not true because of the nature of the production music. This is the reason why. This is not any reason because it's cheaper or not, because the cost for the collection and the payment to the collection society is the same. If you want to use the production music for a program, they have like Blanket, they can use it. And the value, the per minute value payment is the same. So you get the same amount of money for 1 minute in television at a certain hour that you get for the production music tracks or for a Michael Jackson track. So there's no difference. And this is one thing that not all the people that are working in this industry know, and especially in the audiovisual industry. So they think that commercial music is getting more money in. And for the 33%, in spite of the 43 or the other countries, we go or the breakdown per channel. So you can see that we have a good number on Canale 5, the first, Italia 1, and we don't have the same numbers in the national television. I mean, Rai 1, 2, and 3. And these numbers are very low. Why they are very low? So the average is 33 because of this. And they're very low because the national channel, they have their own catalog, their own library, okay? Has used to be in the past called Fonicetra, and then was acquired from Rai. And then Rai has a lot of composers that are creating this internal library that is called Raicom. And there are some, what we say, unfair competition, because internally they are the people, they are the producer, the video producer, the journalist, and everybody is working with audiovisual content and creating this with music. They are almost obliged to use internal library, internal music. And that's why the percentage of the production music is so low if compared to the other channels. Moreover, because they are not allowing to monitor and they are not giving the fingerprint and the data to BIMAT, there's no way to monitor this side. Because this music could be considered, of course, in the production music side. So if we had here the music that is in the Raicom music library, probably the results are much higher than the Mediaset channel. They are becoming not 40. Sorry, it's a little bit a problem for me to read without glasses. Okay, it's 45, 43. I guess that 50, maybe 48, 50. So if we would be able to add these percentages, we will see the global usage of production music growing from 33 maybe to 45, 48. So we have to be confident that we'll have the chance to do this report 1 year later, next year, 2023 maybe. I know that we are discussing also to get more months monitoring. That would be interesting also to have, because I guess that there's 1 month for all the countries now. Maybe we can have 2 months or 3 months. It depends from how much money BMAT will invoice us, but it's a good way to start. And I guess that anyway, it's positive to see that the importance of the use and the weight of the production music is because of the nature of the production music, because it's created for the creators. Is the design for professionals. It's not like commercial music that is wonderful, but is artistic. So there's no specific goal of creating this kind of music for a specific use. And we have this add value, and we have to insist to bring this add value and to enhance the importance of production music all over the world.
Definitely, thank you. And one question about RAI. This is a public service channel.
Yeah.
Is there anything the Italian PMA or Production Music Association can do to force them to use?
Yeah, we did it. These 2 letters that I was talking before were sent to the president and the managing director of RAI, and also to the authority, in order to inform that this is not possible because your channel are paid back from the citizens, and from the payment there is a mandatory subscription that you have in the electric bill now. So if you wanted to opt out, you can, but it's very complicated, and it's 150, 180 euro a year. So probably you're forgetting, and it's in your electric bill. So now with the electric
very
cost,
small part of the
very small
bill.
part of the cost, so you don't care. So there are people that don't know that the subscription is in the electric bill and they pay. This is not fair, but the most unfair policy is that you are not opening the market of the creativity of the music. So you are just blocking this because you're recouping money, taking back the money, and also we have a big problem in the cue sheets. For instance, like in the news, no one journalist is doing the cue sheets because they don't have time. And I can understand that. They don't have time.
And we need technology to solve this.
Technology is there because we can have automated cue sheets. BMAT developed something called Reportal, that is a specific application that is using the BMAT and the report that is connected to the cue sheet system of the television, and is giving you an automated report without any human intervention. So it is not needed that you have to fill paper or nothing. So if you're a journalist, you use the music in the database, and the music has been recognized, and given all the cue sheets automated to the performance rights, and you get 100% safe, or maybe 95%, but it's enough, and be paid with analytical statement, track by track, second by second, and you don't lose anything. Now we lose a lot of money. And a lot of production music is used by the journalist because there's a lot of voiceover. So they need underscore version, they need different version, they need stamps, they need a lot of the production music. So it means that maybe if it's 33 or 45, in the news is something like 75% the usage of the production music, because it's very useful for them.
No, definitely. Thank you very much for that presentation. It was great to see, and I look forward to us doing more of them. This is what we had from the IPMG today. I will say that we now become a membership organization. So if you are a label or a library, you want to be a part and contribute, you can just go to our website and sign up, and then you will have some early reports, and you'll get some insights in what we're doing, not only in Europe, but hopefully in the rest of the world going forward. And if you have any questions for us, thank you all for being on the panel. And we'll be here, so you can come up and ask any questions you want. Thank you.